Together for a while. Justin Reed's been in this league for a long time. Trent McDuffie, I've known him since I was, in high school. I went to high school with him. The linebacker, Bolton, he's a good player. Carl Loftus, solid player. So they got a bunch of guys on that defense that are just good. Willie Gay, good, solid players. And like I said, they've played together. They understand the scheme. Coach has been there for a while, so they play fast, and, we got to be ready for everything.
With all the attention that's on this Kansas City offense, you guys are a unit, obviously, that finished top 5 last year in scoring. How much do you want to just go out there and really kind of show what you can do and sustain drives and keep those guys off the field?
Yeah, that's the goal, right? You playing against a quarterback like that, you can't come off the field too fast. Especially playing against 15 and 87, they're one of the best to ever do it. So as an offense, we just have to sustain drives like you said. Try to keep tight in position if we can. Obviously, some things might not go the way we always want them to go, but as long as we stay consistent, stay on schedule, I think it'll be a good game.
I know it's not plan A, to get into a shootout with the Chiefs, but how fun would it be to get toe-to-toe offensively with the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, that's one of the best offenses in this league, so to be able to keep up with them might be, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that means our defense is letting up a lot of points, but we're scoring a lot of points. So, that's obviously not what we want as a team, but if it comes to that, we got to, hopefully we get the ball last and we can score last, but that's a great offense to try to keep up with.
You said you and Trent went to high school together?
Yeah, so I went to, he went to Mater. I was a sophomore. I was at Servite my freshman year. I transferred to Mater Dei my sophomore year, and when I was a sophomore, he was a freshman at Mater Dei. And then after his freshman year, he transferred to Servite. So I actually played him my senior year. He was a junior. I was at Mater. Yeah, he was at Servite. Yeah.
You guys have any contact ahead of this one?
Not really. Me and him weren't that close. Obviously, we know each other and whatnot, but we weren't super close like that. Yeah.
Does Ben Johnson keep surprising you with all of the things that he pulls out and wrinkles? It seems like in his second year he's even more comfortable than ever.
Yeah. He's able. I think for him, he's more comfortable with us just knowing that we understand the offense now. So he's able to add wrinkles into the offense that maybe we couldn't do last year because we're still trying to pick up things. But being in it year 2, he's able to add more, whether it's a play off a play, different formations, make it look the same. He just adds small things because he feels comfortable with us. We feel comfortable with what he's calling. He knows, the way we like to run our routes. He knows what Jared is looking for, what Jared likes, what he doesn't like. So it's just much more comfortable, I would say, within the whole.
Our backers, just mostly because that's who our communication is, spoken throughout play in, play out. So I think that's just the biggest thing, just making sure, like I said, that communication travels the whole board, and we're seeing the game the same way. Guys aren't seeing different concepts and different routes, different throughout the coverages, and it just makes us play faster, down in, down out, being able to relay simple messages and not have to spend a lot of time with a lot of verbal communication, throughout the plays, and able to kind of one-word things and keep the game moving in the right direction.
Started him. He mentioned you specifically as one of the leaders of him. So how'd they start?
Just like I say, you just relay it to the guys. You know what I mean? You tell the guys that, this is what we stand on, this is what we want to do, and like I said, that's a part of our job, it's part of our business. You know what I mean? Being able to prepare ourselves and make sure we're doing everything we can to, put our best effort and best foot forward out there on game day. So. Anytime you can steal time throughout the day, early in the morning, after, we spend a lot of time together as it is anyways, in the building and out of the building. So just collectively always talking ball, collectively, how can we get better, how can we grow together, and, come out with as most minutes as we can.
We talked about that, I think, early in camp. Maybe it was OTAs, just you said, I'm going to be here early. I challenge you guys to be on my level. It's a young group. Do you like the way that they've responded to your challenge there?
Yeah, for sure. Everybody just has the right mindset. Guys come in, they work hard each and every day. There's no individual, in the group, no individual sense. And it doesn't matter about, who's running, a meeting, or who's running, or who speaks on, the first thing first or sets it up, you know what I mean? We're here for a collective, so we bounce ideas off each other. We bounce game off each other. What we see out there on the film, what we're seeing down and down out throughout plays, and, how we want to play things out there on the field. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be the ones out there on the field. So it's not as much about X's and O's all the time. It's about just what's going to sometimes get us throughout down and down outs, and then obviously through the season, just how we want to play certain things and certain looks. So as much as we can keep coming together on that, being smooth on that throughout the weeks. It's really just a kind of repetitive thing at that point, just playing football.
I don't know if you were asked this already before I walked up, so I apologize if you're hearing it for the second time, but how exciting is it and how much of a challenge do you embrace that you're going up against the Chiefs in the first game and what that offense is able to do?
Yeah, it's definitely very exciting. It wouldn't have mattered what the opponent is. Obviously it's a great opportunity coming off of the team who just won a Super Bowl, coming off of a great year. And it's our first opportunity for the new face and just a new team, in our sense as well, just to come out and just show our identity as a team, who we are in our style of ball. So I think that's just the most excitement right there. We got a lot of hungry guys, and a lot of guys collectively didn't, do too much in the preseason, but we had a really great camp. I think overall we had a really great camp from offense, defense, and special teams. Guys are really coming together, and it's going to show out there on the field. Just being confident, not being wide-eyed in the moment and embracing every opportunity every step of the way.
Do you have a pretty good idea or sense of what kind of identity this team has, or will it take playing a few games until you kind of understand what that is better?
It's ongoing. It's definitely ongoing. We know who we want to be. We definitely know our identity, but at the end of the day, it's about going out there and putting it out on the field, So just as much as us talking about in meetings, us talking about what we want to do and how we want to be physical and get into the ball and make plays on the ball. You can't talk about it, especially at this point. Now it's really time to go.
Have you been part of a banner game before? And just what sort of atmosphere you're walking into? When the other team's raising the banner.
Yeah, I don't remember what year that was. That might have been 18 when New England came off of their Super Bowl run. And we played them in a home opener in New England. So I've been in that atmosphere or just that banner type. I don't think so. I think just the venue. Obviously Arrowhead and being New England, they're obviously two different places. We know Kansas City, or for the most, I have an idea and just relaying to the guys as far as even some other veteran guys and guys who've been in that stadium as well. Just of how loud, how competitive, how great that and electric that atmosphere is. From start to finish. So obviously they're going to have a bunch of banners and fireworks and all this other good stuff, but at the end of the day, we're here to play football. So
similar to the identity question. Similar to the identity question with chemistry, right? Like CJ made the point earlier, like you guys haven't played a real snap together. You had joint practice and everything, but can you have a sense for what the chemistry is, or do you have to play some games to know?
Like I said, we've been building on that this whole time, this whole duration through OTAs, summer, and then obviously throughout the camp series. It was really good for us to obviously do the joint practices and see other offenses and see different schematics, things that we're going to see, type of concepts and type of offenses that we're going to see obviously early in the year, and then obviously throughout the rest of the year as well. So that's just a game. It's just an ongoing evolution. And just have to be on a moving train. Guys are just very headstrong and just being together as a collective, and just having each other's back. So just to being appreciative of that. Open arms to anybody who comes in the door. Obviously, we get E-Man back. We're getting a lot of guys back. So just to be overall excited. And then just being ready to play for each other. When they step out there in the field, like I said, it's going to be a lot of our times. It's a lot of the guys' first times coming out there on the field for the first time together. But I think just that overall hype and excitement, just of, being in that moment, kind of overrides any nerves or any kind of jitters of, any miscommunications and things like that. We're not going to be perfect. No one's perfect out there. But physicality, playing fast, that eliminates a lot of things too, So as long as we do that, as long as we, communicate across the board, like I've been talking about, and seeing the game the same way, playing by our rules, playing by, our identity and those things, we should be fine.
It was just mentioned that maybe your best defense is your offense, staying on the field a little bit longer. So what is the mindset to getting that KC offense off the field?
Yeah, that's just complementary football. That's just something that we talk about, or just a part of the game of controlling the game. And that's from the clock, field possession, the exposure, how many times you see offense or defense, the amount of snaps, the amount of reps, of how that wears on you over the duration of a game. And, it's just so many different factors of how that all comes together, how all three parts of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, are working parts of the game. And, when they're all clicking right at the same time, it just obviously gives you better or advantageous, opportunities to come out on top. And, take care of the ball. It's so many different little things to the game, that are just make the full fold, So obviously, in our sense, you talk about an offense who take care of the ball, don't turn the ball over a lot, obviously put up points, control the game, possession of the clock, amount of plays, you start to wear on defenses over time, and then obviously from a defense standpoint, just limiting exposure, getting off the field when we need to, third downs, getting off the field, turnovers, getting the ball back for our offense to give them more opportunities to put the points on the board. And then obviously in the kicking game, just pinning them in deep territory, making them go to long field, you know what I mean? Punt coverage, hitting yardage, all those different things. So, that's just the back and forth swing of the game of just, putting yourself, your group in the right situations, but obviously all three parts working together too.
I've got to figure that most people think when you go to play the Kansas City Chiefs in offense like that, the defense is at a premium, but it almost feels like the best defense is a good offense. How do you guys kind of embody that?
What's crazy is I think it's a three-phase thing, especially playing those guys, because they're the exact same way. But I think we have to be that. We have to complement each other because we need explosives on special teams, we need explosives on offense, we need stops on defense, but they all go in a circle. But that's how you win football games. It's easy to win one. I can't say it's easy. It's hard to win one phase, but you have to win football games. And at the end of the day, all three got to work together.
Now, obviously, with that being said, how important, what can you do to just stay on the field, sustain drives, keep Mahomes, Kelsey off the field?
I think preparation. And I don't think there's being in any playbooks and preparation. It's something that seems so small, but an extra 30 minutes of studying here, extra 30 minutes of film there. I mean, it goes a long way so that when we get to the field, you're not thinking. Not only that, you're not thinking, but you guys are reading each other because the crowd's going to be so loud. So if I can get to Jared can get to Ra can get to J-Ray, all of us can get to each other without even speaking because we've done so much studying. We know what each other's thinking. It'll take away a lot of other things. So.
How much does Ben Johnson continue to surprise you? I mean, he kind of seems a little bit like a magician. Just the things he was saying that one of the refs came up to him during the Jacksonville practice and jotted down like a little play on a notepad or something for him, and like just the things he comes up with continually.
I think the biggest thing with BJ is you don't worry about his work ethic. I'm worried about how much he sleeps at night because he thinks so much. He's got so much imagination, so many things going, so much film, so much study. I'm like, as long as at some point you can turn your brain off and you get some sleep, because I'll be worried about him because he's a hard worker. So he kind of sets a standard for even us as players about what hard work looks like. So.
Have you played at Arrowhead yet?
Yes, twice.
How do you prepare your teammates for that when a lot of them haven't?
I think I tell them a lot of them just focus on the breathing and calm it down because there's so much energy, and at the end of the day, just remember your breath. That and it was different because when I played, it was very, 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 very cold. So that takes away like 50% of it right there. I think the last time I played there, it was cold enough to where I was laughing, but my saliva was like freezing, so it was comical how cold it was. But no, just the biggest thing is just first game of the year, all the glitz and glamour, all the camera, all the pictures, warm-ups, everybody's hype. You just find yourself, find your breath, calm down, and do what you always do is play football.
Has Goff asked you for any pointers on how to handle Arrowhead? He hasn't played there yet.
Oh, I never knew that. But no, one thing about him, though, is he's played in big games. So big games and loud crowds and all that stuff, I mean, he has plenty of experience. So and I think the good thing was JG is the mental side of the game. A lot of people don't know, but he spends a lot of time working on it. So I think he's more than prepared.